Alright, today our journey starts from Makerere University, the Ivory Tower. And I thought I should take you on this journey, starting from here, Livingston Hall, which is a hall of residence for the male students, and take you on a journey of the Ivory Tower, Makerere University, through its history over time. It's a delight to have you here. Birds actually singing to us. My boost of beautiful birds. Okay, is actually gifted with nature, and this is Observatory Hill Road. I'm on Livingston Road, and come with me. Let's enjoy this journey as I take you through a tour of this university. I know many of you have passed these places, but very few know much of the history of these places. We've been here, but today's journey is a lot more engaging, and I thought to add interest and beauty to our journey, here is the botanical garden, and I bet many of you may not know the history of these gardens. Anyway, it was established in 1948 by Professor Robert Baldwin, who was a British botanist. The idea was that it was designed to showcase Uganda's biodiversity, featuring over 1,000 species, including medicinal plants. Let me see if I could pick through, and if you guys could see. I wonder how many of those medicinal plants still exist up to today. It is well fenced off, and to believe that this structure is much older than me, older than my dad, and everyone that we can think of is very interesting. And right now, we have here Reforum, and many of us probably may not even know what Reforum starts from, but it's a regional universities forum for capacity building in agriculture. How that summarizes to Reforum, I don't know. Perhaps they decided to drop the capacity and agriculture and building all together. It could be the reason we do not know much about them. They are actually along Garden Hill Road, right there. But anyway, our journey is mostly going to take us on this Livingston Road. We cross Pool Road and then exit from the University Hall small gate. And along we shall share a bit of history, and to many who probably may not know much of it. Look at those plants. Some of them I've never seen, some I've seen, some in rural places. Some look like fans, but it's beautiful. This is the beauty of Makerere University. Anyway, so I was showing you Reforum offices, which were right there. And the story of Reforum is that it was begun by the Rockefeller Foundation program in 1992, but their offices moved inside Makerere actually in 2004. And the idea is that now it links 175 universities across African countries to improve agricultural research. But I am very sure many of you, international and local, who have passed these streets were not aware of that. Anyway, we see in the distance, those are the quarry flats. These areas represent the university's shift towards vocationalization and community outreach, providing practical training to urban farming and subsistence livelihood. And that actually brought into place this mushroom training center. I actually don't see the mushrooms per se. I see flowers. I think it is a continuation of the botanical gardens, and because I see some rare species in there. But I think now this department is focused on mushrooms and mushroom growing. So mushrooms actually need darkness. Probably the mushrooms are inside those structures. I see air conditioning. I don't know whether it's a thing that mushrooms need to be propagated or instilled. But yeah, the quarry flats that you see right there are actually staff quarters where do exist. This Livingston Road, before it joins Pool Road in front there, the two meet across Northcote Road. And Northcote Road rises up to the roundabout that is next to the main library. Northcote is actually this hall, which was split into Nkrumah and Sibirwa halls. But anyway, a little more about that when we reach the Nkrumah Hall signpost. But anyway, this is the roundabout that marks the boundaries or neighborhoods of the Quarry Flats, Mushroom Training Center, Northcote Hall, formerly, and currently in Nkrumah and Sibirwa. And then the Central Training Facility. This one was named after Yusuf Lule. Anyway, that Northcote Road that you see right there is named after Sir Godfrey Northcote, who was the chairman of the University Council in 1945 and 1948. The road, as we told you, borders Northcote Hall, which is in Sibirwa, and Sibirwa actually was after the former category Martin Luther in Sibirwa. That is Sibirwa. Nkrumah in himself, I think a photo of his is actually on the sign. And Nkrumah was the first president of Ghana. Residents call themselves activists. So if you've been in Nkrumah, you well know about that. Yusuf Lule Central Training Facility. I mean, most of you might be wondering whom Yusuf Lule was, but he was the first principal of Makerere University in 1964 to 1970, and later the first president of Uganda. So these modern facilities, this and including one that is way behind this structure, the College of Business and Administration and Business Administration, Business and Management. We will get to that. It's mixing me up, but the sign is right there. But these modern facilities, the central training facilities, were built to accommodate the university's massive students' growth of the 21st century. So they are supposed to be shared teaching spaces, not belonging to any particular college, but as need solves it. Yeah, actually this is the College of Business and Management Sciences, COBAMS, housing the schools of economics, business, and then the School of Statistics. So those are three schools that constitute that college. We are still on Pool Road, and on this Pool Road we will meet Gender, School of Gender, and this right here is actually the swimming pool, after which this road was named. I have a feeling the swimming pool predates some of these buildings, or perhaps is the most important and recognizable establishment on this street, hence influencing the name of Pool Road. But it's actually a beautiful day. It just drizzled and it's also raining. It's actually 4 p.m., which is very interesting. I see Uganda electricity distribution. These actually do lighting of the streets, but most of the electricity is underground armored power. That's the entrance of the swimming pool. Let me just take you to have a look. I saw some members. I see it says the committee is not responsible for your property, swimming pool, pets, no bicycle, running or smoking. Oh, interesting. Anyway, it's a beautiful place to be. But right to our right, that is the School of Gender. I think some of the space is rented out to DFCU Bank. For the last 15 years, I've seen DFCU Makerere branch on this space. But the School of Gender was established in 1991, founded as a Department of Women's Studies. It was the first of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa. It was a pioneer in academic activism for gender equality in the region. I don't know who will fight for the boy child, but let me just leave you with a view of the Makerere basketball court next to the swimming pool right there. I think that is the swimming pool house and the pavilion. This was renovated recently, I think a year ago, when they were some competitions, inter-university 3x3 basketball. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. Still on Pool Road. This actually used to be Mitchell Hall side road, but it now is a dead end, or rather a footpath. And it's very, very interesting, the history that these places hold. And this is Makerere University, the premier university in East Africa and Africa at large. Occasionally called the Harvard of Africa. And what you see are some of the oldest infrastructures that probably began this university. And this has been converted to the Department of Music, Dance and Drama. This actually is the staff canteen. At least that's what I remember it. But it's now renamed to Makerere Senior Staff Club. How it became senior, I don't know. Maybe the founders have now since become senior staff. And it is beautiful. It is beautiful. Soon, just right in front, we shall meet the University Senate building. These containers were taken away. What is the idea? This is just recently. Wow. I am a bit confused. Whatever the transformation happening within this university, I do not get. I think small businesses are being chased out. I actually was harboring ideas of one day putting an electronics repair business there to both serve the student community. Actually, it's holiday time and it's a bit desolate, but I have the companies of trees and the lush green and the calm evening of Uganda. In case you've never visited Uganda, please do visit. And I'm just taking you through a walking tour of Makerere University, a giant in itself at times, I think, may it be slumbering. This magnificent structure, if I'm to count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 floors, if you're to count the ground floor, is the Senate building. And this houses the Department of the Academic Registrar. Let me just cross over a bit. And just like the School of Gender, which was housing DFCU Bank, this one also accommodates Stanbic Bank. And that is the writing right there. Department of the Academic Registrar, Senate building. Yeah, it's called the Senate building. The naming, I don't know how it came to be, but just below it is Mitchell Hall. But the Senate building, this is the nerve center of the university, housing the academic registrar, and it was built during the university's expansion phase to centralize student records and admissions. So you also find the Dean of Students office right in there. More of Mitchell Hall in just a bit, but for now, let me show you this beautiful wooden cottage, which houses the Julius Nyerere Leadership Center. Basically, it's a joint initiative between Makerere University and the government of Uganda. It honors Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, a Makerere alumnus and former president of Tanzania. Basically, focusing on nurturing the next generation of African leaders. And these are some of the post-colonial men who show the growth of Africa. Makerere is blessed to have produced a lot of African presidents and influential figures, Julius Nyerere included, Mwai Kibaki of Kenya, long deceased, and Milton Obote, equally long deceased. Now that the university has celebrated 100 years, it owes to itself to raise the next breed of African leaders, a thing I've seen they've been reluctant to produce in the recent past. But Ngugi wa Thiong'o and other Nobel Peace laureates find their roots from Makerere University. We are on KTS Road, which Google Map calls Cassia Hill Road, and this slopes down into the distance to University Hall, which we shall see in just a bit. And to his left is Mitchell Hall, and then down there would be Mugenyi Flats, which we will show you in a bit. But I like this street. I think this is indigenous. It's actually edible by goats, if I'm not mistaken. And I see a acacia tree. And it's interesting that there's some form of either parasitic or symbiotic relationship between the plants. I see those cabbage-like plants hanging over the acacia tree. Some other plant right there hanging onto the branches and dropping its roots down. That is the beauty of Makerere, just the vegetation, the blend between the artificial and the native. And it would be unfair if I didn't show you Mitchell Hall and their signpost and slogan. This is where they are. They say culture with dignity, but then they chose a rat to be their emblem, which kind of makes them a little misbehaved. But Mitchell Hall, it was established in the 1920s, this not being the 1920s version. This is the 1963 version, but it traces its roots to the very first hostel, just like you would see Semakokiro and Sempuya. The new Mitchell Hall was opened in 1963 and named after Sir Philip Mitchell, the governor of Uganda, who pushed for Makerere to become a university college. Now, Semakokiro and Mugenyi Flats are basically historical staff and graduate housing named after legendary figures in the university's early hostel history. And nowadays, I do not know whether it actually had students, but that's what they're suggesting. But that right there, those that you see behind the trees, are some Mugenyi Flats, Mugenyi Flats, Mugenyi Flats, Mugenyi Flats. Semakokiro, I struggle to see where it is, but I see here Luthuli Flats. I don't know whether it's the same as Semakokiro Flats, but the naming right now is Luthuli Flats. And we are sloping down this KTS/Kasha Hill Road. I don't know why Kasha Hill Road, but yeah, it's a beauty to behold. So we are from right up there, the evening sun, more of these trees, and Makerere has endeavored to sustain all the trees. You see all manner of trees. This is we used to call the Christmas tree, Hashimango trees, fruit trees. This I do not know. I think this is teak. Probably, I could be wrong. Campus Restaurant and Barbecue. It used to be called the Campus Barbecue Center. I think they revised it. Limiting themselves to barbecue was unwise. And there's something that is quite easy to miss, and that is the graduate hall behind these trees. And if you look around this block, which is part of University Hall, you can see the tarmac stretching out into the distance. That is Dag Amashhold Graduate Hall. So guys doing masters and postgraduate diplomas can seek residence there. Anyway, let's take this lane, and this is normally called, I think, University Lane, because the building next to it is actually University Hall. And this hall, much as it's looking as nice, has been repainted, and it's actually as old as 1957, a year in which it was established. And it's at times known as the Gotland, but it was accommodated to accommodate students transferred from North Court Hall. North Court Hall, surprisingly, was built in 1948. It is said that it was a gift by the British government upon winning the Second World War. So this is University Hall, the Gotland. I think I wasn't lying, the Gotland. Yeah, I don't know why they chose the Got, but It looks so dignified to have a goat as an emblem, but as emblems go, people make choices, and most of which we might even never understand. And we are fast approaching the small gate using this university lane, and it's a very great delight that I was able to take you on this walk, albeit short. Anyway, in case you enjoyed this tour, there is a video that I've done about the university, and I've taken a different route. There are actually two, and in their titles and thumbnail you'll find Africa's Harvard included. So basically that's Makerere University. Interesting flats. I think those were recently built, and lately a lot of cars actually park in this area because there are not very many secure places at this time that there are no students. So because this gate is manned by policemen, it's quite easy for people to trust these parking spaces with their car. Basically there's a guard whom you can tip to watch over your car. That is an interesting car to find parked around here. It's actually campaign season, but it is a lot quiet. Anyway, we've reached the University Hall small gate. Historically, this gate connects the Ivory Tower, which we are now exiting, to the bustling Wandegea suburb, which we now see right here. It represents the thin line between the academic world and the vibrant commercial life of Kampala right here. The perimeter wall is a recent establishment which was lobbied for in 2017 by the then head of the Makerere Convocation, Tang Odoi, doctor, PhD, not medical doctor. Anyway, this is Junju Road, and I think I should end my video here. I think I should end my video here. That motorcycle guy was hailing me so that he could take me. And today is the second day of the year 2026, and I have a feeling that I should end my video here, but I feel it is unfair if I do not show you where the university students find food in this Kampala. So most of these businesses came to be as a way of making some money from university students. So you'll mostly find food joints, in the past bars and pubs, which have mostly been replaced. And you can see that this area has only transformed in the late 2010s. Those are the structures that actually littered this space, and a lot of university students were always clapped on this street. By clapped, I mean where he laid as they returned from happening from bars and clubs, and lost property, phones, money, and all that. And now new structures are coming up, but the place's development was mostly encouraged by the development by Kampala City Authority of this Wandegea market. And what you see, that block, is the Wandegea market north wing. And in case you're wondering why it's north wing, because that's the northern part of Kampala, and the other one is actually the south wing in the distance, meaning that's the southern part of Kampala. So welcome to Kampala, Uganda. And for now, I think I am going to end this video at the entrance of the Wandegea market south wing. And these cars want to sandwich me, but I'm well alert. So when you're moving on Ugandan streets, please make sure you are alert, mostly for motorcycles, but occasionally cars, because private car drivers tend to have a habit of not being very present. Anyway, this is Mulondo Road. Starts from Junju Road right there, and then goes and connects back to Junju Road, which then connects to Hajimusa Kasule Road, that takes you to the main gate of Makerere University Ivory Tower, where our story began. Anyway, let's proceed. This space between these two markets, I wonder whether it was a negotiation between the landlords and this was left to the owner, or is still part of Kampala City Council land. But I hope it is private, because public and private need to coexist, one supporting the other in terms of development. Now, this road has a funny name. It actually also comes from Junju Road, and then goes and bends back to meet Mulondo Road. But it's called the Wandegeya Makerere University branch of. At least that's what Google Maps says. Anyway, right now we are at Haji Musa Kasule. He was a very prominent businessman around these parts. He might have actually even donated a lot of the lands around here, which also has the mosque behind. So that's the sign of Wandegeya Market, South Wing, and this is the entrance as promised. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. It's my delight that this new year I'll provide for you better and better videos. So anyway, you will find food stuff and then a few offices up and produce. I want to go in here to inquire. Thank you.